the Pfizer-BioNTech, have formally begun the application process to get their COVID-19 vaccine fully approved for people at least 16 years old in the U.S. If the FDA gives the okay, it would be the first vaccine in the U.S. to move beyond the emergency use approval stage. The companies would also be able to market the shot directly to consumers. Dr. Bob Lahita is the Director of Autoimmune and Rheumatic Diseases at St. Joseph Health, and he joins us now to discuss this latest development and more. Good to see you, Doctor. So we were just talking to Nancy about this, and she indicated that, you know, it's this process, even in its expedited form, it takes several months. So she said probably 6 months or so. I don't know if that's your take on it. I want to get your sense of how quickly something like this could happen and how much of a game changer it would be once it is approved.
Well, it's already gone very quickly to the emergency use authorization, which has allowed us to give the vaccine to the public. However, when it's FDA approved, it will go before another advisory committee, which is extremely stringent. And fortunately, they have upwards of 6 to 8 months of data now, real world data, to show that there's efficacy for both Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine, and certainly for the J&J vaccine. So what Nancy said, which was very important, is that it could be mandated when it's FDA approved. Mandated meaning that if you have a company and you have employees that you want to make sure are COVID safe, you can mandate that group of people that they have to have the vaccine. Schools can do that, universities can do that, and certainly hospitals and healthcare facilities can do that. So it's a game changer with regard to regulation, regulatory law, and legally, various groups can mandate that people get vaccinated. And I think that's the biggest issue with the FDA approval. And of course, you know, hesitancy goes away when the FDA has approved a drug. And I tell my patients, this is FDA approved when I give them certain medications and for this particular diagnosis, et cetera. So that's where it's really important, Anne-Marie.
A new study from the University of Washington, Dr. Bob, found that major underreporting of COVID-19 deaths in the U.S. and around the world. It estimates 900,000 deaths in the U.S. That is 57% more than official numbers. Researchers say globally deaths are nearing 7 million. That more than doubles the reported number of just over 3 million. Now, help our audience understand, because we've done a lot of reporting here at CBS News on misinformation and people sort of pulling data without context. So help us understand the context of this data and this report, because I have folks that I know who are, let's call them, skeptical of some of the data that comes from us, the media, and others, and they suggest that, in fact, the deaths in the United States were inflated. So what's accurate here?
I think what's accurate is what's being reported, in that the deaths are underreported. And I'll tell you why, Vlad, because communities tend to report deaths in hospitalized patients. They don't report deaths at home. People leave the hospital, go home, and then die. People die at home and never come in to the hospital, are never seen by EMS. They're only seen by their family doctor, who announces that they died from cardiopulmonary arrest, and then they go to the funeral home or they're cremated. So these data are really underreported. And I would agree with the statisticians that this is all based on official health statistics. You can look at areas of the country and say, wow, look at the number of deaths in that city. They were really high. I wonder why all of those extra people died. And you could say, well, in the hospital, we have X number of deaths from guaranteed COVID-19 positive people. But we have this huge bar, or this huge number of people who have died that ordinarily really exceed the annual number of deaths, and they must have died from COVID. So that's the way they're looking at it. They're doing it a lot more officially than what I'm describing. But basically, you see my point, that you can underreport based on death certificates, pronouncements, and other things. You can underreport deaths from COVID. I myself have pronounced people dead in the community, and I don't know whether they died of COVID or just of natural causes, some of them very young. We have no idea. And as you know, the medical examiners don't do autopsies on everybody, just on suspicious deaths. So we really don't know.
Outside of the U.S., counterfeit vaccines have become an issue. The CDC is now urging American healthcare providers to deface or crush the Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J vaccine packaging so that it can't be reused or reproduced. How widespread is the production of fake vaccines, and what might counterfeiters be putting in them?
Well, that's very interesting, Anne-Marie. I just am aware of the fact that in some countries, not necessarily in the U.S., but listen, you don't want to put anything past anybody, that they can take the vials and fill them with saline or salt water and then reuse them and tell patients that this is a COVID vaccine, when in fact it's just salt water. That is more likely to occur in third world countries where the observation or the examination of the after use of these vials is not as acute as it is here in the US or in more developed countries in Europe, say. But if you're in a third world country and you're in a rural area, such as in Brazil or in India or even in China, you don't know whether these people are taking the vials and reusing them, filling them with innocuous fluids and giving it to the patient, making the patient think that they're vaccinated. So that's a real problem. And I'm surprised that it's happening, but, you know, anything can happen.
It sounds completely diabolical, but where there is demand and a need, you know, you can always count on someone to try and take advantage of people. Dr. Lahita, thank you very much.
Thank you, Anne-Marie.